correlation. Actually, this is a simple concept and we are widely using it. Okay, it is not dealing with any kind of complicated statistical analysis and all. It's simple to understand and it's simple to assess also. So we'll go to the slides. So what are the points today we are discussing are the definition and assumptions of correlation and how do we interpret the results of correlation and what are the methods we are using to assess correlation. So we are using the methods like scatter diagram, Carl-Pearson correlation and Spearman rank correlation. These are the three measures which we are most commonly used for assessing the correlation, and we have some practical session for correlation analysis. Okay, then the word correlation, it made from the word from two words, which is correlation. Co means together. So with the help of this correlation, we are assessing the relationship between two variables, two or more variables. So this is altogether called correlation. And this is a statistical method that is used to discover if there is a relationship between two variables or data sets and how strong that relationship may be. So we are assessing the relationship exists between two variables. What is the relationship between two variables and how strong they are related each other? That we are assessing with the help of correlation. With the help of this correlation, we are assessing the strength of association between variables called correlation, and it deals with the degree of relationship between two or more continuous variables. And if the change of one variable results in a corresponding change in the other variable, we generally say that there is the two variables are related to each other. So if we have two variables, and if any change occurring in one variable, there is a corresponding change occurring in the other variable, then we can say that there is a relationship between those two variables. So what is the relation? Whether the relation is if a change of one variable increases, whether the other variable also increases, or if one variable decreases, that other variable is decreasing, or if one variable increase, other is one increase, other is decreasing. If we are assessing with the help of this correlation, we are assessing what kind of relationship existing between them and how much is the relation, how strong the relationship is, that the degree of relationship is we are assessing. Okay, so we can divide this correlation accordingly, like type 1 and type 2. So first one is degree of correlation. So correlation can either be a positive correlation or negative correlation or zero correlation. And the linearity, in the sense of linearity, it can be a linear correlation or non-linear correlation. In the coming slides, we are seeing what is this, these points in detail. And on the basis of degree of correlation, we are assessing whether it's a positive or negative or zero. Then what is a positive correlation? If we have two variables which is continuous, and we are observing that if one value increases, the other value also increasing. Like if our weight increases, our BMI also will increase, right? So in that same sense, if one value increases, other also increasing, or if one value decreasing, the other value will also increasing. That same direction of change is occurring between those two variables. If the variables are varying together in the same direction, as the value of one variable increases and the other value of other variable also increasing, or vice versa, we can say that the relationship existing between those two variables are positive correlation, or those two variables are positively correlated each other. This is called positive correlation. From this graph, we can observe that this is the x values and this is the y values. As the value of x increases, the value of y also increasing. So this is called a positive correlation. Next is negative correlation. So just as opposite of this positive correlation, if the value of one variable increases, the value of the other variable decreases. If one variable increasing, we can observe a corresponding change in the next other variable. But if this first variable is increasing, the next variable is decreasing. Opposite reaction is going on between that variables. So such kind of relationship is called as negative correlation. If we exercise more, our body weight becomes less, right? So in that same sense, if we the value of a particular variable increasing and the value of the corresponding variable is decreasing, this type of correlations are called negative correlation. And what is zero correlation? We have a data set of different variables, and we have two variables. If both are changing, but the change occurring on one variable is not make any corresponding change in the next other variable. It may differ or it may vary, but that difference occurring or variability occurring between those two variables are not related with each other. Like there may be no relation exists between height and mass scored in an exam, right? If whatever the height, it not depends on the marks he obtained in a exam. So those two continuous variables, both variables are continuous, but they are not related with each other. Such kind of relationships are called zero correlation. If the value zero means what? There is nothing exists, right? So there is no relationship exists between those two variables. That is called zero correlation. So in that zero correlation, the data will be scattered like this. Here we can't predict any kind of trend, like whether it is positively spreaded or it is negatively spreaded. But that any kind of relationship we can't observe in this scatter diagram. So this such kind of relationships are called zero correlation. And what I mean by linear correlation? So this linear correlation also can be positive, negative, positive or negative. But what a linear correlation means? A linear correlation means if the amount of change in one variable shows a constant ratio to the amount of change in the other variable, then the correlation is said to be linear. Like here we have an example of two variables. We have values of x and y as x has values 1, 2, 3 and y has values 10, 20 and 30. So as the 1 unit change in x makes corresponding 10 unit change in y. From 1 to 2, y becomes 10 to 20. And from 2 to 3, again 1 unit change occurring in x. And here also another 10 unit change occurring in y. So the amount of, for each unit change of one variable makes a constant amount of change in the other variable. While we plotting it in a graph like this. So while plotting that, connecting those marks, dots in using a line, we will get a linear relationship like this. The value of x is 1, then the value of y is 10, then next value is 2, then the value of y is 20, like that. So we will get a linear relationship like this. This is called linear correlation. So the amount of change in one new variable will make a constant amount of change in the other variable. Such kind of relationships are called linear relationships. And sometimes it may be, it can be non-linear. Like what will be a non-linear? Here we have an example like that same example, x 1, 2, 3, but the y values are 10, 15 and 25. Sorry, 14. Here from 1 to 2, x have a unit change of 1 unit, but the y change of y units are 10 rises as 15. So 5 unit change occurred in between 10 to 15. So in the next level, 2 to 3, here also 1 unit change occurred in the x-axis, but here the change occurred between these two are 25. So here we can observe an increase, but that increase is not in a constant amount. So while we plotting it as in a graph, it will comes like a curvy in a curvy format like this. So it doesn't make a linear relationship between those two variables. So if the linearity doesn't exist, such kind of correlations are called non-linear correlation. Here it is positive, but it is not linear. Next point is correlation coefficient. This correlation coefficient is actually the test statistic of this correlation concept. Like this correlation coefficients we are used to measure how strong a relationship between two variables. Actually, this is the test statistics we are using, like same as like in the t-test we used the t statistic, and f-test we used ANOVA. For ANOVA we used f-statistic. Such in that way, in the same way, for correlation, we are using the test statistic R. For correlation, for the assessment of correlation, we have different methods. For in all those methods, the test statistic of each test will be R, small letter R. This R shows the strength or degree of association between two variables. And the value of R ranges from -1 to +1. So whatever the test we applied, the outcome value or the test statistics will get a value between -1 to +1. So as we mentioned earlier, we may have positive correlation or negative correlation. So this +1, we should observe the sign of the correlation coefficient, whether it is positive or negative. That positive or negative sign shows the direction of relationship between those two variables which we analyzed. So it can either be positive or negative. So after analyzing, how do we interpret the results of R? Suppose if we get a value of R as +1, then that means there is a perfect positive correlation exists between those two variables. So if the maximum value is +1, that value ranges from -1 to +1. So maximum score will be 1. It can either be minus or plus. So if it is +1, that means there is a perfect positive correlation. And if it is -1, it shows a perfect negative correlation. And if the R value is 0, means that shows the 0 correlation, or there is no relationship exists between those two. Okay. Then if the value ranges from 0 to 0.29, it shows a weak correlation. And if it is between 0.30 to 0.69, it shows a moderate correlation. And if it is 0.7 to 1, it shows high correlation. These categories we can see as weak, moderate, and high. Those three can either be positive or negative. Suppose if the value is -0.18, -0.18 is the R value, then how do we interpret it? It shows a weak negative correlation. Okay. If it is 0.54, it shows a moderate positive correlation. If it is a -0.865, then it shows high negative correlation. So like that, we are interpreting the results of a correlation. So these are the three methods we are commonly using methods for analysis of correlation. First one is scatter diagram, then Karl-Pearson correlation, and another one is Spearman rank correlation. Actually, scatter diagram is a graphical method for studying the correlation between two variables. So from this diagrammatic method, we can observe how closely the two variables are related with each other. So this is the simplest method to find out a correlation. We may use another analysis method for presenting the correlation or for assessing the correlation. But if we are presenting these results in your thesis or in your article, it's better to provide the scatter diagram also. So that will give a quick idea about the direction of change observed between those two variables. Okay. So how do we plot the scatter diagram? while we discussing that diagrammatic and graphical presentation of data, that time one question arises like how much dots will be there or how much points will be there. How do whatever the number of counts pairs in the data, that much dots will we should draw in a scatter diagram. Like if we have two variables x and y, one value taken on x-axis and other value taken on the y-axis, and each pair of x and y value, we mark a dot and we get as many points as the number of pairs of observation. Whatever how many numbers of pairs are there, that many dots will be there in the graph. So by looking through the scatter points, we can form an idea as whether the variables are related or not and how they are related, whether it is positively related each other or whether it is negatively related each other, or there is no relationship between those two variables we can observe in a scatter diagram. If all the points, plotted points lie on a straight line, like linear relationship, then we can say that it's a perfectly positive correlation, as we discussed already. And if all the plotted points lie in a straight line falling from the upper left hand corner to the lower right hand corner, I will show that graphs. Okay, so these are some examples of graphs, scatter plots. Here, what this graph means, here the value of, while the value of x value increases, y value also increasing. And if we drew a linear line, most of the points are very closely rounded to the straight line, so a linear line or on the line. So we can say that there is a strong positive correlation exists between x and y. But here the graph shows that we can observe a positive trend, like here the value is increasing here, but the values are scattered, bit scattered. So it may be a weak positive correlation. And here in this graph, we can see that here the x value is minimum, 0, 1, 2, 3 like that, and here the y value is maximum. So one value increases, the other value decreases. If one value has the highest value, then the other variable has the lowest value. Then most of the points are in the straight line only, or closely near to the straight line. So linear line. So this is called a strong or perfect negative correlation. And here it is more scattered, much scattered here, but the trend is negative only. So we can say that it's a weak negative correlation. It's a weak negative correlation. And here the scattering is little bit less, like it's almost close to the linear line, but it is not on the line. Much of the points are nearby the line, but it is only few are there on the line. So we can say that moderate negative correlation. But here we can't say any trends, like it is scattered. So we can say that there is no correlation exists between these two variables. So this is how we interpret the scatter plots. And what are the merits and limitations of scatter diagram? If it's a simple method and it's a non-mathematical method also, we don't need to use any kind of mathematical formulas and all. It is very simple to do and simple to understand. Of the method of, it's a simple method of studying the correlation between two variables. And making a scatter diagram usually is the first step in understanding the relationship between two variables. If we want to know whether there is any relationship exists between two variables, if we are plotting a scatter diagram, we will get whether there is any trend is existing between those two variables. So it's a good method. And what is the limitation is, as we mentioned earlier, through while reporting the correlation, we should say the direction and degree of relationship between two variables. Here we can say the direction of relationship, like whether it is positive or negative or zero. But what the amount of change between two variables, we are not reporting in the scatter plot. So we can just observe what kind of relation is existing, and we don't have the exact R value here. So that we can say as a limitation of scatter diagram. So scatter diagram is the graphical method of correlation analysis. We are plotting the x and y values in a x and y axis, and the trend it is using to observe the trend of relationship obtained between two variables. That is called scatter diagram. So it can be like this: strong positive, strong weak positive, strong negative. That whatever the relation exists, we can we will get a quick idea about the relationship. And another one is another method is Karl-Pearson correlation. This is a correlation method we are using for continuous data, which is normally distributed also. So it's called as a parametric test for correlation. Karl-Pearson correlation is called as a parametric test for correlation. We are using it for a using it for continuous variables, which is normally distributed. So it gives the information about the magnitude of the correlation or amount of change observing between two variables we are analyzing with the help of Karl-Pearson correlation. So this is the formula for Karl-Pearson correlation. R is the test statistic, and how do we analyze R is N into sigma xy. This x and y are the two variables which we are going to compare, and N into x sigma xy minus sigma y divided by square root of N into sigma x square minus sigma x the whole square, and N into sigma y square minus sigma y the whole square. Actually, we are using it in a practical sense, and so no need to by heart these formulas and all, but this is just for an awareness. I am explaining this one, and this is an example for situation which we use Karl-Pearson correlation. So this is a data of hours of reading and marks scored for MD examination that for 5 students, we have details of 5 students, and the details are hours of they are reading and how many marks they scored in their examination, internal examination. So we want to analyze whether there is any relation exists between the hours of reading and marks they scored. So these hours of reading and marks scored both are continuous variables. So how we do analyze the relationship between these two variables? For that, how do we do that is, here both are continuous, and we are choosing the method Karl-Pearson correlation. So in that formula, we can see that here we got the values x and y, right? So for the analysis, we need sigma xy. Sigma means summation. So we need the we need to multiply x and y and take the sum of xy, and sum of x, sum of y, and sum of x square, sum of x the whole square, and sum of y square and sum of y the whole square. So these all values we have to obtain. So for this table, we need to add few more columns, like we call this hours of reading as x and marks scored as y, and then we are obtaining the another column which is xy, and another is x square and y square. So here if we sigma xy, we will obtain from here the sum of xy, and sigma x is here, sigma y is here, and sigma x square is here, and sigma y square is here. If we apply these values in the formula, we will get the correlation as plus 0.75. So it's a good positive correlation, right? So this R value 0.75, we know that if it is positive, plus 0.75, it's a good positive correlation, strong positive correlation. So what it means, if there is a strong positive correlation between hours of reading and marks obtained, is what it means. There is, if the hours of reading increases, the marks he scored also increases. Okay, so that is the R value, positive correlation value means. As the calculated correlation coefficient is more than 0.75, there is a positive correlation between the hours of reading and scoring of marks in the examination. If hours of reading increases, there is a corresponding increase in the marks scored. That is how we interpret the correlation coefficient R. So we were discussing about Karl-Pearson correlation. If we have two sets of continuous variable and we want to correlate them each other, it is a parametric test for correlation, which is the Karl-Pearson correlation, and the data should be normal. And then only we are using this Karl-Pearson correlation as it is a parametric test. And from this using the Karl-Pearson correlation, we will get the direction and magnitude of the relationship between two variables, X and Y. Next is Spearman rank correlation. Spearman rank correlation is actually the non-parametric version of correlation analysis. Like if Karl-Pearson is the parametric version, the corresponding non-parametric test is the Spearman rank correlation. So if it is, as it is non-parametric, where we can use it for if the data, both continuous variables, if we are comparing to continuous variable, or if we are relating to continuous variables, then where we use Spearman rank order correlation. If the data is not follows normality, there we can apply Spearman rank correlation for correlation analysis. That is one method. And another one application, and another one is if our data is in a ordinal format or rank order format. Our data variables we are correlating each other is in ordinal form. There also we are using Spearman rank correlation method. So it is the non-parametric version of the Pearson correlation. This correlation measures the strength and direction of association between two ranked variables. The Spearman correlation coefficient is based on the ranked values for each variable rather than the raw data. It is often used to evaluate the relationships involving ordinal variable. So if we are not capable of using this Pearson correlation, we can use Spearman rank correlation for correlation analysis. So this also very easy to find out. How do we do Spearman rank correlation is 1 minus 6 into sigma d square by n into n square minus 1. This d is the difference between variable x and y. So the difference obtained between x and y or two variables, we measure how do we measure d is the difference from two variables obtained between two variables, and n is the number of pairs. This is a practical situation where we use Spearman rank correlation. This is a data of an interview conducted by two examiners. Ranks are awarded to the candidates as follows. So here what we have is we have 7 candidates. We named them as A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And 2 examiners interviewed them. So we are correlating the ranks assigned for each candidate by both examiners. So whether they are related each other, the ranks obtained for each candidate from both examiners, whether there is any relationship between the ranks assigned, that we want to assess. So here the responses are in an ordinal format or rank order. So here for the to assess the relationship existing between these two variables, we are using Spearman rank correlation. So from the data here, we can observe that for the candidate A, when examiner give A1 given the rank as 2, and the examiner 2 gave the rank as 3. And for B, the examiner 1, examiner 2 given us 4. So like this, they are ranked for all the 7 participants. And how do we analyze the data? Is first we need to take the difference between each candidate, the responses of each examiner for both all the candidates. For the first candidate, 2 minus 3. First examiner gave rank as 2 and next examiner gave rank as 3. So 2 minus 3 minus 1. Here 1 minus 4 minus 3. So this is the way we need to find the D, and we obtain the value D square. And while we applying these terms into the formula, we got the correlation value as plus 0.64. So what it means? If the value correlation value R shows plus 0.064, what it means? It shows a positive correlation. The sign is plus, so it's a positive correlation, and it is more than 0.5, but it is less than 0.7. So we can say that it's a moderate positive correlation. It's a positive correlation, and it is only a moderate positive correlation. So how do we interpret the data? There is a corresponding, if the marks of one examiner increases, there is a corresponding increase in the marks given by the examiner 2 also. So almost they are following a similar trend, but not the exact trend. There is the linearity of the responses are not, we can't observe a linearity of the observations, but it's almost positively related with each other. That is how we interpret the Spearman rank correlation value. Is there any questions or concerns? Any questions? If no, we can go to some practical sessions. Here I have some data in Excel to show the scatter diagram and this Spearman rank correlation and Karl-Pearson correlation. Hope this can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So here we have some different sets of data, x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3, x4, y4. These all are different sets of data. Okay. So how do we plot a scatter diagram? So we can plot the scatter diagram both in SPSS and Excel. So how do we plot the scatter diagram in Excel is, here we have two sets of data, x and y. So if we want to plot the know whether there is any relationship exists between the two variables, we can plot a scatter diagram like this. Before drawing a scatter diagram, we should select the data set first like this, and we can go to insert. Here we have the option scatter plots. So simple scatter diagram I am choosing, and the scattered data obtained like this. And the data obtained and the graph obtained like this. Here we can edit the title. Actually, it's very simple to plot all the graphs in Excel. Actually, So in SPSS also we can plot graphs, but for a practical purpose, I suggest this Excel for both for preparing tables and graphs. That is, this is more comfortable for doing all the editing and all. So here what is the relation? Can anyone say what is the relation we can observe in this data, in this graph?
It is a negative correlation.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, right. It's a negative correlation because as the value of x-axis is in minimum, the value of y-axis is maximum, right? So this is a negative correlation. And another, we have another set of data. We can keep it aside, like x2 and y2 here. And again, I'm selecting that same method. So what is the relationship existing here is
It's a positive correlation.
It's a positive correlation. Okay, it's a positive correlation. In this Excel, we have many options like how our data graph should be like, or if in the first graph, if this is a simple graph, and we can when a graph will be complete, we should have the axis titles, and we should have the title of the graph also will be, we should have that title of the graph. If it what the graph contains, that we should explain as a title, and we should have the axis titles like this is the x values and this is the y values. So we should we select the graph and we can go to the option layout. Here we have options like axis titles. Here for the x-axis, we can insert. I will show once again. We should select the graph first. And here we have layout, option layout. And here axis titles, we have options like axis titles. And for primary horizontal axis, we need to fix the title below the axis. So here we don't have any names here. So we are putting it as X value. For this data, I'm keeping it as X value. And here we can give the y-axis. Rotated title is more proper. Otherwise, if we have put anything right here, there will be space between the each letter. Sorry. Okay. Here the value is, here we can write it as y value. Okay. So then only our graph will be in a complete format. We should give the graph title. We should give the axis titles also. And if we are plotting a bar graph or pie chart or something, we should show the data value labels also here. How we can plot the labels in the graph is for scatter diagram. It's not necessary. It's no need to put any data labels. But if we are plotting in a bar diagram or pie diagram, we should give the labels. That will be more informative. Someone else is referring our data, that will be more useful. So if we put like this, we can see if we are labeling our data, that each dot value also will be there in the graph like this. Okay. Then this is another set of data. Hope you all understood how to draw a diagram. Okay, scatter diagram. Here also, if we draw a line between them, here also we can observe a positive correlation between them, but
it is a weak correlation.
Yeah, there is a weak positive correlation because why? Because there is much
the values are away from the central line and they're scattered.
Yes, yeah, it's much scattering we can observe in this graph, and it is weak positively. It's positively correlated, but it is very weak. Okay, so this is some examples. These are some examples for scattered plots. And for the analysis of this Carl-Pearson and Spearman correlation, I will show those analysis in SPSS. Okay. Okay. This is a new window of SPSS, and we need to open our data from Excel. How do we open our data from Excel is, we need to go to this folder icon. While we clicking on it, we will get a message tab from where we have to obtain the data. So here we can select the location. So my data is there on my desktop in the folder CSI. So in that folder day 11, my data file type is Excel. I am looking for an Excel file. So I need to select Excel, then put data, select the data and put the open, and then click the option open. So here one more tab will, message tab will come like this. Here I have my more than one sheet, sheet 2, Carl Pearson, Spearman and Spearman normal data I have. So here now I am obtaining the data of Carl Pearson. So I choose that sheet and put OK. Just a second. Okay. So this is a data of height and weight, variable height and weight. Both are continuous. And if I want to know whether there is any relationship exists between height and weight. So between these two continuous variable, whether there is any relation exists. So here what I can do is first I can check as the both variables are continuous, I can definitely go for a Carl Pearson test. But for as it is a parametric test, it's better to test their normality. So I'm going to explore. I'm selecting the variable height and weight. Then I'm going to plots, normality plot with testers, and continue. Here the results came. For this testers of normality, we can observe that both the variables, height is 0.06, which is greater than 0.05, and weight is 0.20, with that also more than 0.20. And if as the sample size is 25, we are using this result of Shapiro-Wilk test. Here also both are normally distributed. So I can use Carl Pearson correlation for correlation analysis. Okay. So how do I do the correlation analysis in SPSS? We need to go to analyze, correlate, bivariate, and we need to select both the variables, weight, height and weight. And if we want to know the mean and standard deviation of those variables, we can take it as here we can give the option and put continue. And here, if it is not ticked, put a tick on this Pearson option and put OK. Now we have obtained the results of the correlation. Here we can observe that there is a good positive correlation between height and weight, because the Pearson correlation value came as 0.670, and here we obtain the significance of the relationship also. Actually, while do analysis on this correlation in SPSS, we will get the significance of the relationship. But for an analysis of correlation, we are mostly giving priority to the correlation value only. It may be significant or not significant. I'm not saying that it is not relevant. It is good actually if we say it's a significant relation, but it is not 100% necessary that it should be significant. We are just observing whether there is any kind of relationship existing between two variables in our data set, whether they are relating positively or negatively each other. That is we want to observe. So if it is not significant also, we need to report the relationship existing between those variables. And if it is a good relationship, if it is, there should be a relationship existing between them, we will get it as significant. So what is the significant means? It is not happened by chance. It is not because of any chance. There will be a relation. There will be a reason will be there for the relation or the difference. That is called significance. So that relationships can be either be a significant or a non-significant. But if there is any relation we observed as if we have any positive or negative value obtained in R, we should report. Okay. So here for between height and weight, we got a positive correlation. As it is 0.670, we can say that it's a moderate positive correlation. Okay. Next is, we can see some example for Spearman rank correlation. Okay. I will show some ordinal data examples also. But for a non-normal data, how the Spearman rank correlation works. So here I have one more variable, age, height, and weight. I have three variables. And if I check the normality of this data, I'm analyzing the normality of all three data, all three variables. Here the results came as the variable age is non-normal. 0.043 is the significance here. So the variable age is not distributed as normally. So if we want to find the correlation with any of this height and weight with age is not normally distributed and height and weight are normally distributed. So if we want to find correlation with the age, then we should go for a non-parametric test as the while variable age is not distributed normally. So not only in the case of correlation, if we are doing either a comparison of means, if we are analyzing for differences or associations or relationships, if we are comparing two or more variables, if any one of the variable is not distributed as normally, then we should go for a non-parametric test. That will give more accurate results. And here the age is not normally distributed. So if we do compare the age and suppose we are comparing the age and height, then how we do analysis is we should go to correlate, bivariate. We are selecting age and height. Here the data. Now here we should give the option Spearman and put OK. Here we can observe a very weak positive correlation, which is 0.063, and it is not significant also. So there is a positive correlation, but it is very, very weak positive correlation. And as it is not zero, we are reporting it as a positive correlation only, 0.063, but it is weak positive correlation. And if we analyze the other variable also, like age and weight, here we got a negative correlation, but that also very weak. The age and weight are negatively correlated, but it's a very weak correlation. Okay, so we are observing the values as here, 0.07, minus 0.073 and 0.728. Suppose we have another data. Like This is actually the value obtained for febrile uterus. 1 minute. Fibroid uterus. This is the result of 10 patients. The diagnostic procedure to assess the fibroid uterus status. So here we have the responses of both procedures, procedure 1 and procedure 2. We have the readings of both procedures. And if we want to find this is the diagnostic procedure. And if we want to compare the responses of both the procedures, if we want to correlate them, we can use a Karp-Pearson correlation because it's a continuous variable. And if suppose we are giving some ranks for the scores obtained here, as if I insert one more variable here. I insert a variable here. Rank P1, procedure 1, I called as rank P1. And for procedure 2, I gave the variable name, rank P2. So what I'm going to do is I'm ranking these responses. So what is the maximum value we got? I give the rank as 1. And for a minimum value, I will give the less rank. So which is the maximum score obtained in this data set, which is 90. So here the rank I gave was 1. And next is 88. So the rank is, here the rank is, so next is 30, which is the 10th rank, and 82. 82 is the third rank, third position, and 45. So here 45 on 7th position.
No. All manaki Jaffa doctors and nunchi naku ma tammudu unna adan నాకు మండిపోతుంది.
Sorry, I didn't heard anything. Sorry. Is there any confusion on this?
No, please carry on.
Okay, thank you. So I think it's better to ranking in the specific order itself. Like maximum value is 1. Next higher value is which one? 88. So we can give the rank as 2 here. Next is 82. So here it is 3. Next higher value is 73. So here it is 4. Then next is 66. So here 5. Then 6. Next is 7. Next value is 8, 9, and 10. Like this, if we are giving ranks to the variables, here also we can rank like 2, 10, 3, 4, 9, 5, 7, 1, 6, 8. This ranking actually, 7, 3, 4. This order, I think it's wrong. Let me do it once again. Two, 10, 3, 4, 9, 5, 7, 1, 6, 8. This ranking of these scores we can do in Excel also. That will be more easy. Okay. So we have obtained 2 decimal points, which is not needed here as it is ranks. So if we want to compare and find the correlation between these 2 ranks, we can take the help of, we should use Spearman rank correlation. For that, we need to select these 2 and take the option Spearman rank correlation. Put OK. So here we got a strong positive correlation. which is significant also. Okay, if like that, if we are ranking some for two sets of data, we should use Spearman rank correlation for the analysis of correlation. So this is all about correlation. Do you have?
Can we use Spearman correlation method for the nominal data also?
Yes. We can use this correlation Spearman not this Pearson and Spearman rank correlation. Actually, if we have a nominal data, if both the data are nominal, we are using another method which is called phi. PHI phi or contingency, but usually we use a chi-square only for such kind of analysis, and if it is necessary, we can use a test called phi. And if one is continuous variable and if other one is a nominal or dichotomous, if one variable is having only two responses and if other variable is a continuous, then we are using another kind of correlation analysis called point biserial correlation, which is called. Okay. If another situation may be like if one variable is continuous and ordinal, and if one variable is nominal, there we use rank biserial method. So these all are some rarely using correlation methods. Okay. Usually we need to use only these three methods. And if we need to do such kind of analysis, we have other analysis methods for correlation also. Okay. Any questions or concerns? Actually, we will be sharing all these notes by tomorrow. Tomorrow or Sunday, we will share all the notes up to tomorrow's session. Like up to tomorrow, by tomorrow, we will finish almost all the basic concepts and commonly used terms of descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Tomorrow, Ms. Radhika will be taking that session regression, which is associated with this correlation. So by tomorrow, we will finish almost these two concepts like descriptive and inferential, and rest of all the topics are almost independent, like survival, meta, sample size estimation and all. So by tomorrow, we will be sharing the notes. Okay.